His videos have been seen over 250 million times on YouTube. Please welcome Charlie Todd.
Thanks so much. So I moved to New York City in 2001 with an interest in acting and comedy. And because I was 22 years old, I didn't have any opportunities. There was no stage for me to perform on. So I decided to create my own opportunities in public spaces. The first video I'd like to show you guys is of the first annual No Pants subway ride. This is the 6 train in New York City. This is filmed with a hidden camera. That girl that you just saw is the star of this video. She does not know she's being filmed. This is in the middle of January. It's the middle of winter. These are 2 Danish guys that sit down next to the hidden camera. And I'm about to enter in my underwear. That's me right there. You'll see in a second. I'm wearing a winter coat, hat, scarf, gloves, but as this girl will notice, I am not wearing pants. So she notices me, but she goes back to reading her book, right? And I don't know if you can read the title, but the book is called Rape, which is just an unusual detail in this video. But it's New York City, right? There's weird people in every subway car and every street corner. So one guy in his underwear in the middle of January, while unusual, you're capable of ignoring it. You're capable of going back to doing your reading. Now, in the meantime, I have 6 other friends that are waiting at the next 6 subway stops, and they are going to board this same car in their underwear as well. So we'll all act like we don't know each other. We'll act like it's a coincidence that we just forgot our pants. So here is the second stop. So at this point, she decides to put her book away and be a little bit more aware of her surroundings. In the meantime, the 2 Danish guys that are sitting to the left of the camera, they're cracking up. They think this is the funniest thing they've ever seen. And she's going to make eye contact with them right about now. And I love that moment in this video because the experience went from a solitary one where she was maybe a little nervous, her guard was up a little bit, to being a shared experience. She saw someone else laughing, and that enabled her to laugh. She felt like she was a part of the joke. So the train is now pulling into stop number 3. So the video won't show everything, but this goes on for 4 more stops. A total of 7 guys eventually are in the car, in their underwear, reading a magazine, listening to music, acting like it's no big deal. At the 8th stop, a girl got on with a duffel bag full of pants and announced she had pants for sale for $1. We all matter-of-factly bought a pair of pants for her, saying, "That's very convenient, I'm very cold, thank you. I forgot mine, thanks." And then at the next stop, we all just disappeared and went in different directions. So that's a photo there, or a still image from the video. And that girl's reaction got me so excited. It was exactly what I was hoping would happen. And that got me really interested in staging performances and pranks that were positive in nature. There was a trick. We were fooling someone in some way, but we weren't trying to embarrass someone or humiliate someone. We were trying to give them a great experience and to give them a story that they could tell for the rest of their lives. So this got me excited to go out into public spaces all over New York and stage as many projects as I could. I staged an offshore gambling ring in the lake in Central Park. So we declared the lake to be international waters and convinced people in other boats to play blackjack with us. I had a friend dress in a tuxedo and set up a bathroom attendant table in the Times Square McDonald's. Eventually, the manager tried to kick him out, but he told the manager he was from McDonald's corporate and it was a new program. I put a suicide jumper on a 4-foot-tall ledge. And 100 years after he died, I had playwright Anton Chekhov give a staged reading at a Barnes & Noble. Of course, without the permission of the Barnes & Noble, we just put up posters saying, Anton Chekhov, meet the writers, and I had my friend take to the podium. The manager did ask us to leave, and he told us to come back the next time Mr. Chekhov wrote a new play, which I thought was a clever way of getting rid of us. So I started doing these projects, and I started taking improv comedy classes at a place called the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, and all of a sudden, I had a lot of friends and new potential collaborators who were interested in doing this type of thing. So the next video I want to show you is the first large-scale thing I did. This building had just been built in 2005. It was a retail building on 14th Street, right across from Union Square Park. And I was walking through one night, and I saw a girl dancing in one of the windows in Forever 21, the store. And it was really noticeable because it was nighttime, and she was backlit, just as it is in this picture. And I decided that I needed to have someone dance in all 70 windows at the same time. So here's that project. So I had 70 people arrive one by one. This is without the permission of any of the stores. They dressed in black, and I gave secret signals in the park. The first phase, everyone on one floor held up these 4-foot-tall letters that spelled out, "Look up more," which was the name of the project. And then I gave a signal, and everyone began doing jumping jacks simultaneously. There they go right there. And they did a variety of other activities. They did dance. Everyone danced at the same time. Then we had dance soloists. So this one guy danced. So everyone is pointing at him based on where they are in the facade. And then the signal changed, and there's a new dance soloist down in Forever 21. Everyone's pointing at him. The participants did a variety of other things. They jumped up and down, they dropped to the ground, face backwards. The whole thing lasted about 10 minutes, and we ended up having an actual audience of people getting out of the subway who stopped and looked and enjoyed this performance. When it was over, all the participants just disappeared. And there's a photograph right there of what the letters look like a little bit more clearly. So I think the best Improv Everywhere projects the ideas come to me because from the location, right? They're site-specific ideas. I'm inspired to do something because of the location. I also have ideas that are just emailed to me by random strangers. I get ideas emailed to me almost every day. And in 2006, a high school kid from Texas sent me an email and said, you should get as many people as possible to put on blue polo shirts and khaki pants and go into a Best Buy and stand around. So I wrote the kid back. Right away and said, yeah, you know what? That's exactly right. I'm going to do that this weekend. Thank you. So here's the video. So this happened in early 2006. They had just built a Best Buy in Manhattan. I had about 80 participants. They entered the Best Buy one by one, dressed in blue polos and khakis. People of all ages. There was a 12-year-old girl. There was a 65-year-old man that you see there. And I told them, don't work, but also don't shop. Now, no matter what you're wearing, if you're standing around in a store and you're not facing products, people will assume that you work there. If you're wearing the exact employee uniform, they will definitely assume that. In the video, you can see everyone who has a yellow name tag is an actual Best Buy employee. Those who don't are my participants. The employees thought it was really funny. A lot of the just regular clerks on the ground went and got their camera, posed for photos with us. A lot of them made jokes about putting us to work and asking us to go pick up some heavy television sets to help customers. The managers and the security guards did not find it funny at all. They're wearing the yellow shirts primarily in this video. You'll see one walk by right here. And their response was to dial 911. So within about 10 minutes, the NYPD showed up. You can see the NYPD dressed in black right there, commiserating with the managers. They assessed the situation and ultimately had to inform Best Buy management that it was not illegal to wear a blue polo shirt and khaki pants. So they were able to kick us out of the store. It was their private property, but no one was going to get arrested for their clothing. We filmed that with hidden cameras. I had some guys put hidden cameras in duffel bags and just cut a hole in the duffel bag. A lot of them got caught by the managers that were looking for cameras. The one guy that never got caught was the guy that just went in with a blank tape, and this is back when mini DV cameras were a big thing, and he just put the tape in one of Best Buy's display cameras and pretended to shop for a Best Buy camera as he filmed. So I like the idea of using their own products to document the prank we were playing in their store. So Improv Everywhere got bigger and bigger as time went on. All of a sudden, I could do things with hundreds of people. And I staged a project in the main concourse of the Grand Central Terminal called Frozen Grand Central, where I had 200 people freeze in place for exactly 5 minutes. We all synchronized our watches and then just froze for 5 minutes and then unfroze and walked away, making it seem like time had stopped for all the commuters and tourists who were walking through the terminal. Well, this video got posted to YouTube in early 2008, and it went completely viral on my channel. I got about 10 million views within the first week or so. But what was more interesting than that is the number of people who saw the video and then went out and replicated it. So within the first 30 days of this video being on YouTube, in 100 cities around the world, people went out and froze in place for 5 minutes in a public square, a train station, or a college campus. And to this day, almost every weekend, there's some group of people freezing in place in a public space somewhere around the world. My mailing list got really big after this, now that I had this viral video hit, and all of a sudden I had thousands and thousands of people in my mailing list. And I've done quite a few projects that have used between 2,000 and 4,000 people at a time, but it's not really practical to work with that number of people most of the time. So I've been using my mailing list to narrow things down and find interesting sets of people within it. I did a project in 2008 called The Human Mirror. So I recruited 15 pairs of identical twins. So this photo looks like Photoshop. It is not Photoshop. It's 15 twins who are dressed exactly alike, and they mirrored each other's movements on the train. So everybody who got onto this particular train car and looked one way and looked the other way saw the exact same thing. In 2009, I worked with artist Jason Epink, and we found a 11-member handbell choir, dressed them in red aprons, and had them one by one surround a Salvation Army employee. So this was right before Christmas. There was one guy with his tiny bell ringing for the Salvation Army, and then all of a sudden he was surrounded by this choir who performed Joy to the World and then disappeared one by one, leaving this one guy to wonder what the hell just happened to him. And Improv Everywhere is associated with the flash mob movement. A lot of times people bring up flash mobs with me, and that's a term that I've never personally used, partly because we started about 2 years before another guy, Bill Wasik, started the flash mob also in New York, and also because the number of participants has never been important to me. I enjoy doing things with big crowds, but I also enjoy doing things with a small number of people. It's whatever's right for the idea. And the next clip I'd like to show you is a project we did with just 5 actors and 5 pieces of paper. So this was in February of 2009. It's where the E train meets the 6 train in New York City. It's in the morning, it's wintertime, very cold. People are making this commute, and there are these 2 giant escalators, and it's always a bit of a traffic jam to get on these escalators. It's not a very happy place with people on the way to work. So there's a photograph that sort of shows you how we staged this on the incredibly tall staircase next to the escalators. Rob gave out about 2,000 high fives over the course of 45 minutes. This was out without the permission of the MTA. They didn't even seem to notice. But I was there that day, and it was just really exciting to watch people's mood change from the bottom of the escalator to the top of the escalator. And even people that were on the other escalator still seemed to have a smile on their face when they got to the top. In fact, I think they were a little bit jealous. The next project I want to show is another smaller scale project. It's with 6 performers and 6 costumes. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's called Star Wars Subway Car. So Princess Leia's riding the train, and then at the next stop, the stormtroopers get on, they find her, they apprehend her, and they march her down to the doorway. So they ended up reenacting. I should move on to this because you guys are already reacting to it. So Princess Leia and Darth Vader ended up reenacting the scene from episode 4 there. So this is a project here called the Tourist Lane, and it's a project that had no actors whatsoever. I worked with artist Jeff Greenspan, and we used some temporary chalk spray paint, and we sprayed a line down the sidewalk on 5th Avenue and then stenciled tourists on one side and New Yorkers on the other side, giving New Yorkers an expressway when they were walking down the street. And this is another project I did with no actors at all. It was called Say Something Nice. We built this giant podium and attached a megaphone to the top of it with a placard that read Say Something Nice in front of it. And then we went out to public places in New York and placed this megaphone and then just disappeared and filmed discreetly as New Yorkers took the opportunity to say something nice into the megaphone. And I think the best Improv Everywhere projects are the ones that are explicitly about making someone else's day, doing something that is specifically nice for someone else. And this is the last video clip I want to show, and I think it gets that idea across. You guys are the couple that just got married, right? First of all, congratulations. And second of all, I work with the mayor's office, and we're throwing one free wedding reception a day to someone who's getting married here. So if you'd like to, we're just choosing one random couple to try to promote this. We've got the tent set up over there. We have a cake for you guys. We have presents for you guys. Yeah, I promise. Okay, awesome. That's great. Cool. No, I promise. I'm Charlie, by the way. Okay, and what's your last name? Because we'll write it on the cake. So this couple had just gotten married by the city at the office of the city clerk. They were certainly not expecting to have a wedding reception on this day. So in case it's not clear, all of these wedding guests are complete strangers to the couple. So we hired a DJ, we had them have a first dance. Her actual dad was at the ceremony at the county clerk's office, so she had a first dance with her father. We had a fake father on hand in case her dad wasn't there. He didn't get to do it. So that's thanks. So that's the wedding party there. Had the 4 groomsmen and the 4 bridesmaids. We had the best man gave a toast and the maid of honor gave a toast. Very generic toast about love, since we didn't actually know them. But I think our best projects are these ones that go out and are specifically for that goal of doing something awesome for someone else. And it's also a ton of fun for us. When I started Improv Everywhere 11 years ago, it was out of necessity, as I said. I was a performer and I needed a place to perform. I needed a stage, so I started performing in subway cars and escalators and public parks. But over the decade of doing this, I've learned a lot about public spaces, and it's really changed the way I see cities. I can't walk through any city from point A to point B without noticing fountains and new buildings that have been built in New York and unusual construction sites and other potential places for comedy and for fun. And I think as we're growing up, we're given specific time to play, right? Your parents tell you, go outside and play. It's time to play. At elementary school, there's recess. There's a specific hour in the day where your teachers say, now is the time where you go outside and play, and the facility that we built for you outside where you're supposed to play. And I think it's important for adults to see the city as a playground and to see the city as opportunities to play, and to remember that it's okay to do something for no reason at all. And I think that's part of the point of Improv Everywhere, is that there is no point. There doesn't have to be an agenda behind what we're doing other than the fact that it's a ton of fun, and we're having fun, and the people who are interacting with us are having fun, and the people that might watch the video on YouTube are smiling as well. And I hope that as I grow older, and I'm now 11 years older than I was when I started this project, I hope that I continue to play. I did a project just a few weeks ago with a group of people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. So I noticed in a Staples location in 6th Avenue in Manhattan that in the office chair department, they had 24 chairs that were set up, and it looked sort of like a boardroom because it was 12 chairs facing 12 chairs. And I decided that we needed to have a boardroom meeting in this office chair department. So there's a photograph of the project there. So all of the actors were, as I said, they were all over 50. I had a friend of mine, Will Hines, set up an easel and a whiteboard that he had just bought at the Staples moments prior, and he gave a presentation to this board. You can see the manager there in the corner in the long-sleeve shirt. The meeting lasted about 30 seconds before the manager showed up, and we were pretty quickly asked to leave, but the manager had a pretty good sense of humor about it, and you can see the video online. He had a pretty good reaction to it after we left. He was laughing with his fellow employees. One of the participants that day was 78 years old, and it was just really exciting to work with people of that age group and to watch them have fun, and for me to have fun watching them have fun. And I have to say that I really hope that when I'm 78, I'm still being asked to leave by the management. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Charlie, that's terrific. Anything illegal?
Is there anything illegal that I do?
Have you ever broken the law? Have you ever gotten in trouble for
we've
something?
had the police called on us a couple times. I've staged a fake U2 concert once on my roof, and I ended up in handcuffs when I did that. So the real U2 was playing a show at Madison Square Garden, and I lived in an apartment building across the street from it. And U2 is known for these surprise rooftop performances, so I put a fake U2 on my roof as 20,000 U2 fans were walking to the venue. And we were very loud, and the police showed up, but it was perfect because the police broke up the actual U2 surprise rooftop gig as well. So I tend to break a lot of store policies and park regulations, but I try not to break the law. I'm not interested in going to jail.
Smart. So you launched Improv Everywhere before YouTube existed. So how did that change the advent of YouTube? How did that change your fortunes?
It completely changed everything for me. In 2005, if you wanted to see one of my videos, you had to come over to my apartment, and I had to get the tape out of the shoebox and plug it into my TV. And then when YouTube came out in 2006, I had all this content, and it just changed the game for me. My website was photos and text, and then I was able to really share the full story with people. And in 2007, I had an opportunity to make a TV pilot for NBC, and just because of the YouTube notoriety I had. I had a blast making it, but it didn't get picked up. And at that time, I thought, oh, okay, well, this is, I was really disappointed. It was a big setback. And then I realized that I didn't need anybody's permission to keep doing what I was doing. And I think that's what's really exciting about the age that we live in now, is that you don't need the permission from someone in a corner office. You don't need a green light. You can just green light yourself and do your own projects. And if it's good, you'll find an audience.
Great. Charlie, thank you so much for the social.
Thank you, Dave.